and Reno. Number 7, I don't know if this is your 7th speech or you're doing it out of order or in order?
Technically, it is 7, but I did do a speech.
Okay, so we're almost completing his CC10. He's 75, 80-ish% of the way through, which is good. This speech takes a little bit, it's supposed to take a detour from some of the other speeches we do in our manual because it's so heavily focused on research, where a lot of our other ones, we sort of speak from experience, some storytelling involved. But for this one, we're supposed to go back to our old school ways, sit down and research our topic, gather a bunch of sources, and then present that information to the audience in an entertaining and educational fashion. So I had no idea that you were art history or fine arts? Art history student. If you'd asked me to name 30 possible things that Reno had studied in school, that would not have made my list. We'll talk about that later. But I was very impressed with his breadth of knowledge. Obviously, you've done a lot of research on the topic. You presented us with an interesting topic in an interesting way, and by that I mean it's something that affects our lives all the time, but we probably never even stop to think about it unless you read a lot of Dan Brown books. So it was an interesting opportunity to sort of see how these iconic images do affect our everyday lives and to see it from a bit of a different perspective. So I appreciate the way you put it together for us, and it was well organized. The purpose was there. You set out what you were going to do. You did it. You wrapped it all up together near the end with a conclusion for us, and it left us understanding a little bit more about iconography. Now, although I think you did great with the type of research you presented us, and I like the visual research, the truth is, for this speech, we're supposed to try and provide varied resources, and the only one I felt I got was from your experience in school and readings. Now, probably not, there was probably other resource sources that you used in that, but you didn't specify them. And so somewhere in that speech I would have liked some sort of, almost like an annotation of where this came from, where that came from, so we have more of an understanding. It's not just your perspective on what these icons mean to us, but this comes from such and such source. So I would have liked a little bit more of that. I would have liked a little bit more variance in the materials as well, that as opposed to just the PowerPoint, maybe try and include a few more things into the speech itself. I understand the use of PowerPoint. I'm not a huge fan of it because I feel it disconnects you from the audience a lot. It meant that you no longer had access to full body language. You didn't use a speaking area in front of you. You were stuck here presenting this to us, and as an audience member, we feel a little disconnected from it. So I would have liked to find a way to use your PowerPoint, then put it down, and then reconnect with the audience so that we can really feel together with it. The fact is, maybe because of the understanding you have, this was the most comfortable I've ever seen you up here, and it really allowed me to enjoy your speech to a different level than I have in the past. I think there's a few things you can work on. I'm going to forget about the timer now, I don't care. There's a few things that I think you can work on from the history that I've read in here. Some of your speed, of your intonations, of your words, things often trail off. I've spoken to you about that in the past as well, that as you're speaking, make sure to project each word fully. Heather does a great job of it, where every word is enunciated and projected so everyone grasps every word you're saying. Sometimes things can get lost if as you're talking and then you go to the next word. We lose a bit of what you're saying. So cut out a little bit of the speech so it fits in the time, and slow down a little bit and focus on your intonation of each word, and I think we'll really get the full effect of your speech. What else? Nothing. I think that was a good speech. I don't mean to be critical, but that's the way I am. Work on your speed and your intonation, and try and maybe in the future get away from there a little bit more and connect a little bit more with us. But overall, I do think you did a good job, even though it might sound like it from all my comments. So thank you, Reno.